We as referees have to control the game, and that goes from a safety point of view, and also from dealing with coaches, players. Okay, so for me, that's really behind all my referees. So I think I'm going to talk about control from two aspects for you to think about, and then Clifton will go into his presentation, which kind of will go in more specific. I think you should always ask yourself, are your calls or no calls, in the referee world we'll call them rulings, we don't necessarily call them a no call, but are your rulings help control the game? Okay. Sometimes calling too much is not good. Sometimes calling too little takes the game out of control. So you have to get on the same page with your partner and decide what works for that day. Okay. I always tell people when I'm refereeing with the younger officials, with the younger age groups, stop thinking advantage, disadvantage. Like, the fouls are more black and white, if I could say that phrase, right? It's more, how do you judge, like, have you ever got into a pregame and the referee told you, here's how we're going to call the game? Or have you asked somebody, have a coach ever asked you, refs, how are we going to call the game today? Has anybody ever asked you that?
Yeah.
No, not yet? Not yet. So now, if that day ever comes, and they say, how are we going to call a day today? You know, sometimes we call a lot, sometimes we don't. What's a good answer?
I call what I see.
I call what I see? Okay, well that's subjective. So get used to using basketball terminology. This will help you when you interact with coaches. Basketball explanation, and it has to be short and sweet. Okay? I mean, some people have been victims of my basketball explanations here. But if you give them basketball terminology, whether they know it or not, they're going to look it up, and they'll respect you if you know your stuff, right? So, for example, I'm going to give you some of my lines that I use to diffuse situations. Ref, there was a lot of contact on the play. Okay, so what's a good response? Coach is saying there was a lot of contact on the drive in the key.
It was legal.
There you go. Yeah, coach, I don't disagree with you, but it was legal contact. Okay, now there's coaches that say, what is that? And you just say, okay, I can explain it to you later at halftime or something, because there have been coaches that said, I never knew there's such thing as legal contact. Okay? So legal contact, okay? What's another explanation you might use? Or basketball terminology. How do you establish yourself as a defender?
Establish legal guarding position.
Okay. Player had legal guarding position. Okay? Use that phrase instead of just saying he was there, for example. Okay? Basketball terminology. Okay? How do you judge a legal contact? What's your criteria? What does the rule book tell you?
It changes balance, speed, rhythm,
speed, balance.
quickness.
Okay? RSBQ. Rhythm, speed, balance, quickness. If it impacts any of those four or a combination, then it's a legal contact. So now you don't need to have this mentality like, oh, this is a kid's game, we're gonna let go more. This is a woman's game, whatever. We're always gonna call based on RSBQ. So now if you are in a more athletic game, and there's a hand and it has no impact and the player goes, it doesn't impact their RSBQ. It doesn't matter what age they are or how old they are. It's the result of the contact. Okay, so this becomes your criteria for a legal contact. And the next thing that always gets us in trouble with coaches, players, or parents is when they perceive that we're inconsistent. So if on one end we call something illegal, and then our partner or something we call it legal on the other end, that's what they're asking for. Okay. You don't always have to disagree with a coach. Sometimes, what are some good lines to agree with them? Coach says that's a legal screen. That's a good line. Yeah?
Just sorry, I missed that one. I'll do it next time.
Okay. Or you might say, I might have missed that one. Not necessarily, maybe you didn't see it. So you say, I might have missed it, but coach, I'll keep an eye on it. Right? So now it goes from you're wrong and I'm right, versus, okay, I'll work for it. Are they going to argue with you now? Like, you diffuse the situation. Okay? And sometimes you might say, coach, I had a good look at it and give the basketball explanation we just talked about. But if you didn't see it, we might have missed that one. But I'm going to make sure I hustle and I try to keep an eye on it. Okay? Here's another one. Player comes to you, like let's say you give the you count the basket, and the player's like, oh no, there shouldn't be no continuation on that. What's a good response? What would you say? Ref, that shouldn't have counted, come on. What do you gotta say?
You got him after he gathered.
Okay, so you might use a little basketball terminology, yeah?
You can ask him why not, and then use his own explanation against him. If it's wrong.
Okay, if you have the time, in the act of shooting, okay? So here's what I say, this is my go-to line. You know what? You might have not liked it, but guess what? You can get the same thing on the other end. And they all laugh. Right? Okay? As long as you get it on the other end, alright, cool. Okay? So now, once again, it's not about I'm right and you're wrong. Hey, you're a smart player, why don't you use it to your advantage? I'm trying to empower them, right? And so, little lines like that, I mean, everybody's gonna, over time, have their own lines, but use basketball terminology, and it's the same thing, you know, the consistency is the hard part. Go into control, you try to control this with your whistle, but sometimes, regardless of what you do, shitty situations happen, because you just have crazy people involved with the game that don't understand the game, or they watch the NBA and they think that rule applies to FIBA and so forth, right? You have to have your own criteria of where you're comfortable. I'm sure Clifton will talk a range of strategies, but for me, I always go and shake the coach's hands and introduce myself. If I'm late, I go to the coach and I apologize for being late before I go to the game. I say, sorry coach, I got caught in traffic, whatever, I'm late. My name is Ardavan, sorry I'm late. And they appreciate that. So, right by introducing yourself, you build a rapport. It's like if you know the ref, if you're coaching and you know the ref, you got to give him a little more leeway because you already have a rapport. If you're a teacher or educator, you already know. If you have a relationship with that student, they're more likely to listen to you. Okay, so it's the same thing. You're trying to build relationships, and once you do it and they see your face, they're already judging you when you walk on their court. They either say, oh, we got a good ref today, even though you might have a crappy day. They got to think you're a good ref, but they got a positive impression of you, or they think, oh, it's going to be a long day today, based on the personalities. And the people who think they're going to have a long day, your goal is to change that perception over time, because you might have them more. And so there's times, and I'm telling you this for real, there's times where I've had bad incidents with players and coaches, and over the next game and the game after, I build a rapport with them, and we're best friends now, like when we walk, right? But they respect that being approachable. You don't take it personal, and sometimes it's like, hey, I looked at that play we argued about last time, I was wrong, or hey, I looked at it, and you were wrong, and here's the basketball explanation. And so you open up the dialogue. If the game is getting out of control, you got to deal with it. So, for example, coach is yelling at you. First play, now second play. If you let it go, do you think it's going to stop?
No.
Probably not. Okay, matter of fact, if I'm the quiet coach on the other end, say, I think he's starting to get calls because he's yelling at you. I'm going to say, well, I want you to stand up and do some yelling too. Like, that's how I would think, right? Same thing. If I see, oh, we're the well-respected parents on our team, that team is crazy, screaming and swearing at the refs, it looks like they're getting calls. Okay, we got to start doing the same thing. Let's swear at them, right? So put up with what you want to put up with. The safety of the players and the control of the game is the first thing that should matter, okay? Players, I think we talked a little bit about the strategies, okay? So eventually you're just going to get better at it. But being approachable is key, okay? And for people who are introverts, you have to work on that. It's a harder challenge. Basketball is dynamic, especially in our city, okay? So you got to learn to interact with the coaches and the players. The coaches, okay, they know what's right and wrong, okay? If they tell you they got away with it last game, that's not your problem. This is your game, you run your show, okay? I always tell my partners, nobody's gonna fuck up our game, okay? So if they have to be removed from the situation because it makes the gym safer, trust me, sometimes those parents they want you to kick out that coach. Like, there's times that coaches have been kicked out, like, thank you. Like, if you don't teach them a lesson, they're role models for the kids. If they can yell at you, what do you think their players think, right? Great coaches tell them the players not to talk to the refs, right? Or go and ask you a question. So think about it. If you're not dealing with the coach, and I know sometimes being a younger ref, you're like, what do I do? But have your line. Anybody swears at you, that should be an automatic team. They yell at you. So in the ideal world, this is how I work. I go informal warning, like, coach, we can't have you scream across the court. Okay, that's an informal warning. Formal warning is the next step. Tweet, tweet. Coach has been warned. Loud enough, the whole gym knows we just warned the coach. Next one is T. What is he gonna say? I just warned you, coach. I don't care if it's the next play he yells, T. I just gave you a warning. A warning means you need to take it easy. You don't get the warning, that's a T. Okay, now, coach, I just warned you. Okay, and usually the onus is on them once you give official warning. Okay, same thing, players. Hey, can't have you be swearing and talking like that or whatever. Like, let's say not swearing directly at you, but just too dramatic. Oh, I can't believe that's a foul. Hey, can't have you be so dramatic. There's a play you don't like, come and talk to me. I'll give you the explanation. Okay, that's the human piece, right? You're being approachable. Parents and fans, theoretically, we don't want you to talk to them. And Patrick here runs a convener for OBL and a lot of tournaments. There should be a site convener, especially when we're talking about CYBL and OBL. Okay, if they're swearing at you, I would say you should address it because now it's not a safe environment. They're bad role models and everything that we just talked about, the negativity. Okay, you go to the convener and say that parent is being disruptive. Can you give them a warning or talk to them? They should be doing that. Okay? It's not your responsibility to know what team they're from. That parent. It could be a neutral parent. I don't care. I'll kick them out. Okay? That parent is making this environment toxic for the players, for the coaches, and for me. Okay? Now, if they get a warning, same thing. They continue, stop the game. They got to be removed, or this game is not going to continue. Okay? Yes?
So we have conveners at every site, even like when it's a high school. And
Okay, for most parts. Yeah, 2 minutes, thank you. So for most parts there is. If there isn't, then you have to deal with it.
Ardavan.
Yeah, if there is on. So if
Ardavan.
no parent is there, you can give them the warning. Okay. And then you can say if this parent does not leave the gym, this game is going to be over. Okay. And
Ardavan.
why? It's the safety. You bring it back to safety all the time. I'm telling you, you don't get paid enough to put up with abuse. That's actually my line. I don't get paid enough to put up with abuse.
Ardavan,
All right?
just so you know, a lot of sites don't have conveners who are take charge.
Yes.
A lot of sites have conveners who are just there. They're the person whose name's on the permit, or they're the person that is there. Many of them don't have basketball knowledge. Many of them don't have officiating knowledge. And you're going to be in a situation where if you go to a convener and they don't have that kind of qualification or that kind of confidence or that kind of experience, you're not going to get a lot of help.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So I would just say that this should be your first line.
that
Because,
is your first line. But
and then if there is none or not good leadership, it's really on you.
OBA, if you're doing OBL games or you're doing an OBA tournament, there's a code of conduct that all the coaches, all the parents sign off on when they register their kids with OBA. They are expected to behave in a certain manner. You can remind them, or the convener can remind them that they are under a code of conduct here in this facility. If their behavior doesn't improve, we will clear the gym. And you're within your right to do that, and the OBA will back you up on it.
All right, Ardavan, Rutledge, we've got